have no shot, pal. You're done.
Wow. It's a lot of tough talk from you, of all people. Because listen, if we get to the top of that stadium, if I'm going off, you're coming with me. And here's the thing. I'm going to not have you hit the blob down there. I'm going to do you right on the concrete.
Oh.
Yeah. And you know what? You chat.
He broke up. Look what happened. He broke up.
Fuck.
I was watching the bumper. I was like, oh, let's do something more entertaining than that, you know?
Joseph, I have been having jaw issues for like the past 4 days to the point where like I can't yawn and I can't laugh. It's like probably like a TMJ thing, and you just played that, and I just want to start dying laughing, and I'm getting immense pain in my jaws. I'm just like, don't laugh.
I'm sorry, but I dare I say it might be worth it. The hesitation in Bob, little stutter step when he goes, I'm do you right on the concrete.
No, he's like, I'm not gonna blob. I was like, what is going on?
The blob down there is like an all-time great Bob quote. Amazing. Beautiful times. Hello, folks. We hope you're well. Jaychele and Joe show back again. Different time slot. This might be where we stick, right? Maybe we'll see how it goes. See how we feel here in this time slot.
Yeah, I have a new schedule for the school year for the semester, for those who don't know. So we had to make some adjustments.
This crowd, you know this, Joe, they're used to things being changed. Like Late Night Grin's first full year, we had like 4 different rebrands. You know, is what it is. It's kind of part of the gimmick at this point. Nonetheless, we do have a lot to talk about.
Wait, Joe, I mentioned the Late Night Grin in my job interview.
Well, that seems like a mistake.
Because they asked about like communications doing remote work, and I was like, so I actually work with this team with the Late Night Grin, and we're all like remote. And
I work with a bunch of white guys on the internet. Yeah, I'm actually preparing a bunch of grin games for them. They're like, who are these people? They're kids.
They're like my kindergartners.
Yeah, it is funny that if you like describe this platform front to back without saying who we were, the audience would absolutely assume that we were children. Like, oh, that's cool that you do that for those 6-year-old kids. You know, like you can't have games for them to play. Like, we have a question here. Oh. Let's lead with this. Joe and Jaychele, do you have any thoughts on John Morrison boxing the guy that hosts Epic Mealtime?
Is that really happening?
I don't know. I don't know who any of that is.
Do you know who Epic Mealtime is?
I do not know.
They make comically large meals. Like they'll make like a 5-pound mac and cheese or something like that. And they're on YouTube.
I've probably seen it, just not realized what it is. So John Morrison's fighting him. That's interesting.
He's an older YouTuber. Like he's an OG YouTuber.
John Morrison's still in pretty good condition, right?
Yeah. I like his wife.
Yeah. Well, you know, that doesn't always mean a lot for the male party, as we've found out with old Pepsi Phil through the years. But nonetheless, look, Bob was in the chat for that. That's good. Good shit. Okay, so I guess I should ask, how are you? Rather than just sort of trailblazing. Hello, Jaychele, how are you?
I'm good. This is my second day of the semester.
Yeah.
So it's very fresh. I just kind of wish that I got to move in to my dorm earlier, like to get used to like transitioning back here earlier. But I'm doing pretty good. I have some pretty good classes. One of my teachers literally said, "I don't give a fuck." Not I don't give a fuck, but she said, "I don't care why you're absent. Don't tell me. I don't do grading. Just be here and participate, and you'll get an A." So it looks like a good semester for me.
Yeah, bodes well. This is something we actually talked about recently, right?
Yes.
Which is hilarious. We need to figure out the format, but I'll put it this way: it's not an impossible thing by any means. It's something that's been discussed, believe it or not. So let it play out, I guess.
Because you know what Dylan told me? We were in the supermarket. Dylan's right there. We were in the supermarket, and I was like, "Oh, I need elbow macaroni. I'm doing this." And we get to the macaroni, and he goes, "Jaychele's dropped the elbow macaroni and cheese." Or it was like Jaychele's People's Elbow macaroni and cheese. I was like, so we can do wrestling themed foods.
Mm-hmm. I had a few, like when you messaged me about it, I remember I was thinking of ideas. I was like, one of the things that intrigued me was having guests and that like their favorite move is worked into whatever you're cooking, but you're like interviewing them while you do it. You know, like those TV shows they do, you know?
Oh my God, like Rachel Ray.
Sure, yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, good job.
I'm sorry.
Rachel Ray basically interviews people while she cooks.
There you go. Yes, that'd be good. And then like the link would be your cooking something that's related to them.
Cookbooks? I gotta buy the cookbooks.
There you go. We're cooking here, folks. We're cooking.
That was so funny. When I messaged you that, you did not know what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know. But you remember that was like the week before Christmas, right? I'm not imagining this, right?
Yeah.
That was when I was at the Ishii show. So my internet was all fucked up, and I got like all these messages when I came out, and the first one I read was like, "Wait, Jaychele has a show idea," and it was like, "I'm gonna cook," and I was like, "Oh my God, what's happening? What kind of production budget are we doing here?" But generally, my response to any idea is like, "Yeah, we can figure that out." Like it's just a matter of.
It is a shot of brandy. It totally is a shot of brandy.
Well, good company. Good company.
I gotta come up with my own idea now. I gotta come up with a name. Yeah. I gotta come up with a name. Somebody in the chat make me a name.
So, like, unironically, if you launched this show, Brandy would absolutely come on it, right?
Oh my God. Can we make that happen?
I feel like that's the thing that would absolutely happen. Yeah,
I feel like it totally should. I feel like me and her should be best friends.
Yeah. I think you'd have to pretend that was the main influence for the show.
Oh, we can do.
Yeah, we could do that. We'll just start doing it from now.
I think her and her husband would both like me. I think that they would both love what I stand for, and I think that they would make me her child's godmother.
I just love the idea of like Cody watching the show and like scrolling through our channel a little bit and coming across Oracle and being really scared and then running away. There's a lot there. There's a lot. Let's get into this. We see the Bellas brought up in the
shot of Shelly is not bad.
Shot of Shelly? What's that?
Jaychele, Shelly.
Oh, it was a real show. I was like, I was like, Shelly Martinez? Who has it? Oh, don't worry. So the big topic of the day, we'll get to the kind of positive news, but the big topic of the day is the kind of fallout of Raw XXX, which I'm still amazed was a thing they did. Bayley's cage match with Becky Lynch was cut from the show, or at least it was turned into an angle for the show. And that was going to be a thing to talk about in itself. But then things kind of escalated with the Bella twins taking to Instagram. And my God, they kind of did an old shoot gimmick, right? It was like took me back into the olden days of the business. Lots of conversation today about like the women's division's treatment as of late under Triple H, but more specifically on this show. What did you make of the whole thing? And then we'll kind of get into the individual pieces of it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the show. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I didn't care enough to watch the show. I was gonna watch if the Bellas were gonna be on. I'm not gonna lie.
I believe it.
I was gonna tune in for the Bellas. And then they took the Bellas off and I was like, yeah, pass. I'll watch highlights, whatever. So when I saw that news, I was like, that's already fishy that the Bellas were cut. I was already smelling something was up, because why would you announce them on Raw and then like take them off the graphic? Like it didn't really make any sense to me. There's
mixed reports. So I think Alvarez said they got to the building, didn't like what they had for them and left. But I was sent a tweet earlier today that was from like last week where the Bellas were like, we can't make the show. So I have no, because today it's been reported that they walked out of the show, basically, from what I've seen. Now again, folks,
it looked like they were in a hotel when they did that live, so that would make sense.
But I think they said elsewhere that they were like, they had to be, I don't know. But nonetheless, it was a weird situation because even the tweet that they sent, I think was, was like basically them saying they weren't confirmed for the show when they were announced for it, which is kind of weird in its own way. I think this is a little deeper in terms of its roots than people realize. I was reminded earlier of when Bianca lost to Becky, Nikki having that like hilarious rant.
I fucking love that rant.
Yeah, That was kind of wild to look back. Like, I don't know. It seems like that relationship is a little bit more complex than people realize. I don't think the Bellas, and I agree with them on this to be clear, but I don't think they necessarily appreciate the way they were framed in some of their storylines in terms of like, I mean, when they feud with Ronda and Ronda basically credited their whole career to like their husbands and stuff, and it was like, this is a weird thing to do in the build to Evolution, you know? Like, I think it's a complex relationship. I'm not an expert on it. Like, does that sound right to you? I don't know.
Yeah, and the Bellas have always been outspoken too. Like they've never been like quiet. Like even when like before they were like total divas, it was still kind of like not that they were just complacent. I don't know, but I feel like the Bellas deserve more respect than they get, especially from WWE. So the fact that they don't get that and they still are stars, like despite that, like they like what was it Brie who I don't remember, was it Brie or Nikki who was on Barmageddon or whatever, who had that show on USA?
Nikki,
like,
I think. Yeah,
yeah.
He's still on. Yeah.
I think it still is, yeah, because I know Mercedes was on it, but like all of that stuff and like them getting their own spin-off and everything like that, I feel like they deserve more respect and they know that they do, and like they know their worth, kind of like Sasha and Naomi, and by them realizing that, they kind of are more so willing to speak out against it.
Neither of us can really speak to, you know, the way they were the women were presented last night broadly, right? Because neither of us watched, like, because I've heard mixed stuff about the video packages. Like some people were saying they were kind of underrepresented in those. Other people said they were there. I know that Nikki kind of alluded to an idea that, you know, like they didn't want to show a lot of the Women's Revolution stuff because Sasha's in it, or Mercedes is in it. I don't know how true or false that is because I didn't watch the show, but I do think this is a good time to kind of get into
Mercedes and Saraya.
Yeah, and Saraya too. Good point. I do think this is a good time to get into like Triple H's booking of the division, because I think the one thing before he took this job, or you know, took the job, you know, the one thing he got the job, right? Because I understand it wasn't like there was an interview process. It was he was the guy to get the job, and fair play to him. But the one thing I think that was an objective feat of his and triumph of his was the way he booked the women in NXT. He treated the women with respect. They were featured with importance. It felt like he really cared. And I'm not saying any of those things are undone by what's happening in the last 6 months. But I do think, from the outside looking in, I don't watch the shows necessarily super closely. It does not feel like he has been able to recapture that feel on the main roster at all as of yet. SmackDown, I think we can both cut him some slack in terms of tough lineup, right? Like, now, he could have changed that, but it's a tough lineup. But Raw, like, I don't know. Where do we stand on this?
Me, Monty, Alexia, and Charlie, we all did the ranking stream. SmackDown was so rough to get through. Like,
it's bad. It's bad.
Horrible. Raw was even hard itself too, because of how many heels they had. Even like it was hard to figure out faces and stuff like that. So I think both of them are like both brands are completely mismatched. And I think I personally think he's waiting way too long to do a draft. I think he really should have done a draft a long time ago, because that's where a lot of these issues are coming from. Like, if you're gonna book with the same material that we had before when Vince was here, then how am I to even expect something different? Like, I understand completely that like he's in charge now, but like he's still working with like what he had before, but like he doesn't even need to do that. So that's why I still like partially blame him. It's just like an awkward situation.
It's like a self-inflicted wound to not do a draft.
Wait,
right?
and right that they didn't have a spot for her?
Yeah, she said something to that effect. I can't remember the full quote, but she said something to the effect of like, you know, maybe later, but not right now. That's the issue that I think makes him. That's what brings his kind of decision making into question, I think. You know, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but if you're a big believer in Candice LeRae, you want to bring her back to the company, why did she have to go on the show that already had enough star power on the women's division? Mia Yim, we're both big fans of Mia Yim. She'd have a big time opportunity on SmackDown. On Raw, she's like, what, you know, babyface 4 or whatever, you know? And it's like, I don't understand it. Let's kind of focus in on Raw for a second, because I think this is a genuine issue. And Monty and I have kind of talked about it some, and he's kind of the belief they tried this. I'm not convinced. I don't think they've made a genuine attempt without a world champion to make Bianca Belair the ace of Monday Night Raw. I just don't. And there's some pushback in terms of, well, the damage control versus Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka was the main storyline. I don't know how often Bianca has closed Monday Night Raw in a main event match. Like, to me, the main events of Raw seem to always be the US title stuff with Theory, Bobby, Seth. And Bianca is like still the secondary champion, even though there is not a world champion. And I mean, look, we have a lot of fun with the Alexa Bliss stuff, and I think it is what it is. That program is no good. I mean, it's not for either fault of the women involved. It's just it isn't a main event program. But even if you go beyond that, it's like Becky Lynch has been completely called off since she came back, and I've been watching her segment, so I can speak to that part of it. And it's like, it appears that his plan with Becky was to use her to like resuscitate damage control, and in the end, he's brought Becky down. You know, it's like who on the Raw division has got any kind of momentum other than Rhea? I don't know. It's a tough question to answer. It's
interesting that Rhea has it when she's with the men.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good point too. This was definitely something we talked about a lot at the time. Like when Becky was still there after Bianca won the belt, it still felt like Becky was the main character in a lot of ways, right? And it's a difficult, just good.
I can begin to theorize why they don't view Bianca there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I need to begin to feel like it's. I know.
It is hard though, because I think we both agree that we don't have any complaints about the way she's booked in like a win-loss regard. Like she kicks the shit out of everyone. I mean, she like murked damage control time and time again. She's been like 3-on-1, you know, like
yeah.
But it's more like a usage and presentation thing and positioning her to succeed as the main character of the show, which I just don't think they've attempted. I mean, even the Alexa feud, like what they did last night, I was like, that's fine. I mean, I didn't have any issue with that segment they did. But it isn't an attempt to make it like important, really. It's just like a thing we're going to do to build this match because it's happening. And in terms of the women, you know, kind of with regards to the Rumble, I think they've announced like 7 people for it. I don't think Becky's cut one promo about being in the Rumble. Like, why? What's going on there? Like, why is there not a sense that, oh, you know, Becky's going to be trying to win the Rumble. That's her target, or Bayley is. From what I can gather, Rhea's the only woman who feels like she has any kind of direction in the Rumble. And it's bizarre.
Thinks only Rhea can win the Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, it's Rhea or a Hail Mary Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Unless something magical happens with Charlotte, which I highly doubt, because there's no positioning for that. And I don't think they would have Charlotte win again.
Mm-hmm. And last night's deal with like, why would you do the Sonya? I didn't understand that in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if you saw that, Jaychele, but they did. Sonya is feuding with Charlotte, so they had her wrestle Bianca, and Bianca just won. And it's like, what did that achieve? What did that achieve for anyone? Yeah, I don't know.
And also Sonya is so cold. It doesn't make sense.
I think I read somewhere she hasn't won a match on TV in like 2 years. It's weird. And again, part of the reason we're talking about this is I think the first reaction to Triple H getting power was, oh, this should be good for the women. And we've seen certain things, right? Like you've seen more, I guess they've got a couple more stipulation matches. They were in War Games on the main roster, which, you know, that's saying that he did in NXT. And that was a cool deal, no doubt. I'm not saying it's all been a complete disaster by any means, but I struggle to see what's really been achieved in terms of people getting over or people being in a better position than they were. I mean, there are people that have got their jobs back, and I'm happy to see that. But, like, even those names just feel like they've been thrown on the show and just left to fight for themselves, right? It's like, what is Candice LeRae's place on Raw? I don't know. She's just on the show now. And Mia kind of had one with the OC, but not really. It's a strange outcome of what the first 6 months of Triple H regime have been. Really strange. Completely at odds with everything we expected, to be honest with you. I don't know.
I wonder if some of what he's feeling is pressure from Vince during this period of time. Yeah. Like, not even to give him an excuse. I'm just like, we're not there. We're not in his mind. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think we both would like an answer because we're confused by it, genuinely. because I had the same thought you did. Like what you just said is something I was like, I've never ever saw Triple H as like a creative genius, and that's a hard thing. You know, that's not a common thing. There's hardly any of them in the industry at all. You could argue there's none. But the one thing we all agreed on was that he did a hell of a job with that women's division. Even in the USA Network era, where I thought his creative got really thin, like the Rhea over Shayna moment is like a classic recent WWE TV moment. And man, there's been a couple flashes, but generally it feels very prelim, and it's a shame when that Raw division feels like it should be just spectacular. I mean, look at that lineup, right? Bianca, Rhea, Asuka, Bayley, Io, Dakota, Alexa, Mia. I mean, that's about as good as it can get at this point. And you kind of wonder, you kind of wonder to yourself, like, if they do a draft and they kind of spread out more, does it get worse in some ways? Because if this is what we're getting out of Raw now, what the fuck does it look like if there's less star power on the show?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I don't know, that draft there needs to be something different after the draft. Like the draft, I feel like is like the last hope even, and it's so early to have that last hope. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree. I also, while we're just kind of talking broadly about, the product, and like I want to stress again, if you really have enjoyed Triple H's WWE, that's awesome. I don't watch it closely, so I'm talking as someone who's like based on what I see. Right, that's all we can do, and that's fine. I know you was enjoying it quite a bit that first stretch, especially, right? Like it's cool. This is just my very, very distant viewpoint on it. But like one of the things that's really telling is the constant returns to like people that did him a good job in NXT. And on a level, I respect that in terms of like you trust these guys. They did good by you before. Loyalty, they deserve better when Vince was running the show. On another level, though, Jaychele, I'm just like, you got to move on,
Like it mirrors like when the Elite just like bring in their buddies.
It's the same thing. Yeah. There was one this week. I know my friend Bobby was very excited about it. And I know Ibu was happy about it too. And I'm no problem with it. But we just talk while we're talking here. AOP and Paul Ellering coming back. And it's like,
Are they really?
Well, that was the rumor was they've been discussed. I should make it clear. I don't have that for sure. They were rumored. Fightful Slayer had the story about. They were talked about.
I don't even check that much anymore. All right.
And it was like, did they deserve better on the main roster? Yes. They have not wrestled a match in 3 years. Neither of them wrestled since they got cut.
Weren't they like trying to do West and then like scare people?
Yes. Yes, they were.
Wait. And they scam people and they're gonna go to WWE?
Maybe. To go a step further, this isn't a case of they had a great 2019 and then like AOP were really rolling and were a thing in like 2017, 2018. They've not wrestled in 3 years. And at some level, it's like, while I appreciate what you're trying to do there.
I need y'all to back off Chelsea Green in the comments. I need y'all to back off Chelsea Green in the comments.
But it's like, on some level, you have to kind of move on at some point. And if it was a one-off, I would get it. But like, Eric Young is supposedly coming back. And, Tegan, who I'm happy for. But it's like, it can't just be trying to salvage things that went wrong before, Because those moments come and go. You can't recreate them. Nikki is someone I talk about a lot and the reason I talk about Nikki a lot is because everyone that watches these shows knows I like Nikki very much. So I'm not doing it on a personal level. But like the idea for Nikki of she's going to be crazy again. And it's like, what? Then what? I don't know, man. She just stands around and loses matches. Like, you can't just go back to 2017. Things have changed, and you have to find new tools. Like, why can't NXT people come up? Like, why can't Alba Fire come up? Why can't Mello come up? Why can't Pretty Deadly come up? Whoever I don't care who. I just refuse the notion there's no one in the PC that can do the same job that fucking, AOP are going to do after 3 years out of the ring. Sign some new indie guys. So you could have signed fucking Willie Mack a month ago. Sign Fred Yehai. I don't give a shit. Sign Kevin Blackwood. I don't care who. Just new people.
Blackwood. Kevin Blackwood is not a good idea for that.
Sign him.
No,
Whoever you need. I don't care.
No, you put
Fresh. Give me
them
fresh
black
faces on the television show.
Daniel Garcia together in AEW, and that's how you get him away from JAS, and then make me happy.
That's fine. Whatever you need. But I just, it's like there's only look. There's not a lot of great talent out there. But let's be real. When you dig into people that haven't wrestled a match in 3 fucking years, come on. At some point, you got to move on. Anyway, I'm ranting here, Jay. So I apologize, but you know what I'm saying. It's a little much, I feel. All right. Nonetheless, let's talk about a more positive story. Great news earlier today. Mark Briscoe will be wrestling on Dynamite tomorrow. Tomorrow would have been Jay Briscoe's 39th birthday. I was thrilled by the news, very surprised by it, because I know Dave, just this morning, was like, they're not having Mark on the network. Yeah. Last night, there was a tweet from your friend of mine, Jaychele, Eric Bischoff. And he did a tweet, and he was like, the best acts are done when no one's watching. Respect, Tony Khan. And I was like, oh my God, Tony's bought WCW. That's not what it was. I think it was this. No, in all seriousness, this is a super cool deal. What was your reaction to the news?
Yeah, I was I was excited to see that. Sad. Well, not sad. I mean, I guess Jay Lethal makes sense, but why Jay Lethal?
I know, but it was definitely that Mark's choice,
I know, but
Have you seen he's bringing out Bobby Cruz?
Is he really?
He is, yeah. He bringing Bobby Cruz, Ian. I think Caprice is coming.
Probably.
It appears he's just going to do a Ring of Honor television match in the middle of Dynamite, which is an incredible tribute to Jay. Tony's fucking nuts with that. Look, Tony Khan's very flawed. I'm not here to hero worship, but the kind of savage you got to be to run that show and be like, we need Bobby Cruz here for this. God bless him, man. It's nuts. Seriously, it's good that he's around, because he could have very fairly been like, well, Jay, God bless Jay, one of the great wrestlers of the last 20 years, but he wasn't ever on Dynamite for the reasons we know, and that sucks, but he wasn't. It's like, not only is he doing the match in tribute to Jay, but he's like, we have to do the whole thing. Ian Riccaboni and Bobby Cruz have to be here. And it's like, I think it means a lot to those that want to celebrate Jay's career further. But yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of questions if Mark was going to wrestle again, but I think he probably wants to get this one out of his system, right?
I thought he was done.
Me too, to be honest with you, yeah.
But he might be after this.
Exactly, yeah. We don't know, right? It could be a thing where he wants to do this, but he may just fucking wrestle more than ever, because that's the way for him to deal with it. And whatever he does, I think the wrestling world is ready to support. Yeah. I'm intrigued by the kind of backstory here, because I think there's no way that the public backlash was what made them change this decision. I think Tony may have kind of been forceful with his persuasion, because I don't think they'd care about the backlash from wrestling fans, to be honest with you. I think they kind of, that company's dealt with bigger backlash from comic book fans and shit. I think Tony made a pretty big stand on this one, and good, rightfully so, because it was a she situation. But I do want to quickly give you a chance to talk on Jay's passing, because I know that last week's show I cancelled because I said to you I couldn't do 2 shows about it. It was just, last week was really, really rough. I have a lot of fond memories of you and I discussing the Briscoes on this platform, do you remember when they're 4 months there, we were like, is the FTR match happening? You remember? Because it didn't look as good. And then I always remember your love for the low-key homicide match, which granted wasn't much to do with the Briscoes. They were the adults in the room that night. But do you remember? I mean, I have those memories. So anything to just kind of say about losing Jay and the Briscoes in general?
Yeah, the Briscoes created 2 out of my 5 favorite matches of that WrestleMania weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the FTR match and the homicide low-key match. That match is, I haven't gone back to watch it, but I really want to. It was just so funny, and everything was just so stupid. It was just peak wrestling. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember around the like right after Ring of Honor got sold, I want to say, I started to like actually watch like some Ring of Honor content, and I would like go back and like watch the episodes, and like I watched like the more recent version of like the Briscoes right before Ring of Honor like was shut down and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed their work, and that was like kind of like the that first exposure for me. So when I saw them in GCW and stuff like that, when they had the GCW titles and everything like that, I was already familiar with their work. But I feel like Jay was really the glue of the team, and everybody knew that. So for me, it's a really big loss as like one of my favorite tag teams outside of WWE, even though like I didn't watch them as much as other people did because I don't have that much of a history with the Briscoes because of how recent of a fan I am. But their work still meant a lot to me. Like that homicide low-key match got me through that weekend because that was a rough weekend. But that coming on at like it was like 2 a.m. too.
Yeah.
It was just like an ungodly hour. It was just hilarious.
And then that was Thursday, right? Because you were covering all that weekend, right?
Yeah.
And that was Thursday, and then Friday we reviewed that before Supercard.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And it was cool. I mean, they were so active that weekend because then after the FTR match, they fucking wrestled the Good Brothers. Do you remember the same night? Bless them. There'll never be another. And I think what you said there about Jay is kind of rolling the team. I do think there are some folks that aren't as familiar with the Briscoes but know of them that think of them as kind of like they're brothers, right? They're interchangeable. It's like they were very defined in their different roles. And Mark was very colorful, but Mark is very colorful, but Jay was, the kind of straight talking, stern party in the team. And that was why, when they wrestled FTR, it was always natural that him and Dax would be one and Cash and Mark would do their business over there, right? Like it's it's a terrible, terrible tragedy. It's awful, but hopefully with things like tomorrow night, kind of the wrestling world can slowly heal. Obviously for the family, it's much, 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 much more challenging than that. But, I think I've said this on a few shows and it's a weird thing to say, but unfortunately wrestling has a lot of experience with tragedy and sadness. And if nothing else, the community comes together for those things, right? Like seeing how much money was raised and it can only help so much, but it's the best people can do. So
Right.
It seems like Mark's in a good place too, so that's good. I saw that he watched Dynamite last week and was talking to the Bucks and stuff, so that's a nice thing. All right, let's look ahead here to the Rumble somewhat. Before we do, though, I do have a question.
I'm excited for the Rumble, Joe. I'm excited for the Rumble.
I'm always excited for the Rumble. It's a cool show, isn't it?
I love the Rumble.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like even with all the things we said.
Female legends this year.
You clench your fist.
I'm so upset. I wanted my Michelle McCool moment.
Yeah. Before we get to like general Rumble picks, I have to ask you the question that's been dividing the nation, dividing the globe.
Yes.
Got very heated last night on WrestlePeers Worldwide, which I strongly recommend everyone check out. Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes?
Cody Rhodes.
You didn't even hesitate.
Say Cody. I'm trying to get the Brandy sponsorship, Joe. But I really do love Cody.
Hold up.
Cody Stan.
Wait there. Bob texted me last night. Here we go, folks. Look at this. See this carrot on the screen. Jaychele is correct. This was Bob's tweet last night. Or text last night. Where the fuck is this thing? Here we go. All right. Maybe Sami should beat Roman. That was 20 hours ago. Bob, it's over, brother. You've conceded already. You'll see, Jaychele. You'll see the light. I'm gonna get to that. This question is a really good one. The kind of AEW originals versus former WWE women. But I think because it's a busy week, we should kind of keep that one in our back pocket because I think we're gonna have time to kind of see where that goes. Like next week, that probably makes sense as a main topic.
Yes.
But we will get to absolutely. All right. We mentioned earlier that the Women's Rumble is not like exactly a loaded lineup as of yet. There's only a handful of names on the board. Is it as simple as Rhea Ripley is going to win this thing, or is there a surprise awaiting us? Oh, yes.
Why can't we do both?
What does that mean? Cody and Sammy?
Yeah,
or...
they both win.
Okay.
One belt. Done.
Well, that has been kind of rumored, right? He's like...
that's my opinion.
But now, would the play there be that Cody beats someone else and Sammy beats Roman? Is that what we're saying? What are we thinking here? Or are you saying they both wrestle Roman?
They both wrestle Roman.
Oh, I think you were saying like they split the belts. Like someone gets the belt off of. Because one of the rumors was the idea that, well, not rumors, but suggestions was the idea that someone could get the Raw belt and Cody could go for that,
I think Cody should win and Sammy should win.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins except Roman. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Roman's doing 2 jobs on one weekend, Jaychele. I think you do.
You asked me and I answer.
I feel like you took a firm stance on that and then thought about it for a second and was like, well, hold on. You question yourself and now you're unsure of where you stand, I feel. Uncertain. That's what I gather from your answer.
Maybe I'll have a certain answer by game night.
Okay, good. I guess they could get the belt off of Roman with like, I don't know how you do it really. Because like having him lose twice, like before he loses that one, is kind of.
I think you should sell it on him losing both of them. I think he should go fucking psycho after.
Maybe. I guess you could also do like. I guess he could lose one of the belts in like a multi-man match. I guess. Not the Universe one, the other one that he got last year, mate. I guess he could do that, and you see, don't pin him. Like I mean, before Mania, The problem with that is the natural match would be Cody and Seth, but Seth is now a babyface. Cody has beat Seth 3 times. But that's also a natural match because Seth took him out, remember? So I'm not sure. I'm increasingly firm in the stance that the Usos losing the tag belts to Kevin and Sammy is just not. To me, that is not the fitting finale of Sammy's story. It's cool, him and Kevin being together again and being the Usos. But, the Usos aren't the true villain of the story. It's Roman.
I agree, but I also am imagining an extremely emotional moment in Canada where Sammy wins the titles with KO and they both cry in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. But then what do they do at WrestleMania?
That's not my... I just paint the vision, Joe.
I think Canada's going to be Sammy and Roman, right? I think it's probably what they're going to do. And Cody will have the Mania match. I think. That feels the most likely to me.
My job is to just paint the vision, Joe. That's all I do.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, you sound like Bruce Pritchard in a Crave Me. By the way, have you seen, I meant to bring this up to you. Have you seen Trick Williams wrestle lately?
Should I?
I mean,
is it bad or is it good?
It's closer to good than it's ever been before. Still a ways away. Still got some traveling to do. It's on the way. I think so. I mean, to pull back the curtain, folks. I brought this up because I remember Jaychele and I having a lot of, because Trick's great, but he wasn't a wrestler a while ago, right? He just felt like a manager.
Yeah, he was just there.
Yeah. And we would often talk about his guy's awesome, but I don't know if he can wrestle at all.
He has a personality though.
Amazing personality. Genuinely charismatic. And I was on the cage match site that you love so much. And I saw that there was a Trick Williams tag match that got 3 3/4 from Dave. And I almost fell out of my chair. So I reviewed the match for the Late Night Grin. It will be out later this week. It's not very good, but the fact that he made a Dave star rating match, we may be getting there, Jaychele. We may be getting there.
He's getting somewhere. You got to start somewhere.
If he can get to 4 out of 10 in ring, I would make him the world champ. That dude is incredible.
That was nasty, Joe.
I was being complimentary.
I
Like,
know.
if he can
that
get
was
to
so
like,
nasty.
no. Let's be clear. I'm not saying he's like. This is important. He isn't like a bad wrestler in the sense that he's so new. He's wrestled for like what, a year, 2 years. He's where you'd expect him to be. He's brand new. Because people don't realize that Carmelo Hayes has been wrestling for like fucking 10 years. He's, so he's where you'd expect him to be. But I'm just saying that he only needs to get to like, if I can just see him take a couple flatbacks, I'll be like, well, maybe it's time, Cody, there's a new sheriff in town.
Flatbacks are not easy, Joe. Joe. One of my friends who was with me at wrestling camp, the fantasy camp I went to, she texted me and she said, "Hey, are you gonna go to the camp in May?" I said, "Over my dead body, am I stepping back into a wrestling ring?"
Hold up. I can't believe that my take was, if Trick Williams can take, quote, a couple flatbacks, I'd make him the world champ. And your response was, flatbacks are hard. He's like 220 pounds, Jaychele. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. Okay. Nonetheless, that review's coming out later this week, folks. Anyway, let's stick with the Cody Sammy thing, I guess, to the men's rumble. Is Cody Rhodes the obvious pick, but also the correct pick this Saturday night for the men's rumble? What do you think, Jaychele?
I think so. I want Cody.
Yeah.
I think that I just like Cody. I think Sammy does make more sense, but like being bullheaded, like I expect Triple H to be, I think he's gonna go with Cody.
Do we think there's a genuine chance of Stone Cold Steve Austin? Because there's been a lot of interesting reporting. I know Sean said that there was talk of a Roman match. Dave said a Brock match. There's been a
match.
What did you say, sorry?
I prefer a Brock match.
See, here's the thing. I do too, in terms of like it makes way more sense from a story point of view. But the issue with the Brock match is like, I don't know if Steve would make it out alive.
The thing is also, where is Brock right now?
But he was on the show last night.
Was he really?
Yeah, he closed the show.
Serious?
Mm-hmm. He
Wait,
closed the show.
He what?
He went after Bobby again. They're fighting again. Yeah. It happened. I promise. I'm not making it up. Yep, there it is. Pinky swear, folks. I pinky swear.
So it's Brock.
Who's going to win the Rumble?
No. Who Stone Cold is going to face is going to be Brock.
But isn't he going to fight Bobby Lashley?
Do you think it's going to go on that long?
I mean, I guess they could do it in Canada, but I don't really know when else to do it. I mean...
That's kind of boring. That's boring for Mania.
Yes, it is. They've done it twice before.
No idea.
There was a lot of buzz about the Gunther match that's like recently just gone completely ice cold, which is interesting.
Interesting. I like that one too.
That match should be my perfect
and
pick.
slapping meat.
Yeah, that would be my pick personally. And I think he's earned a big match at Mania because Gunther's had some like crazy matches with lesser opponents. I think he deserves that kind of match. Austin certainly looks like he's in shape for a WrestleMania match. There have been rumors for months he's going to have one. As we get closer, though, unsure.
You think maybe they do Sammy, Roman, and Austin Cody?
The problem with that is Cody's going to get the shit. He's going to get booed so bad, Which isn't bad, but it is for him because he doesn't want to be booed, I don't think.
But he's facing Stone Cold. Is he going to give that up to face Stone Cold?
I mean, he went out of his way to feud with Anthony Ogogo. I mean, I think this one is like, this is where Bob and I ended up, was Austin Cena, which I still don't, it doesn't quite work, but
is Cena rumored or no? Not yet.
Cena's rumored, yeah. The expectation is Cena will be there. I think especially with the video game, I think Cena's going to be around.
Oh, it's on the video game, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, there was some point there was buzz about him and Logan Paul, right? Cena and Logan Paul, which is a weird one. It's a weird.
I kind of like that though.
You like that? Okay.
I do like Logan Paul in the ring. I don't like him as a person. Please leave No.
Separate the art from the artist, folks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was to put money on it, I think Cody's going to walk out with the Rumble win. It's apparent to me though how few guys feel like they have any like shot outside of him, and I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean by that is it suggests to my brain that something might be up here. There may be a surprise up their sleeve.
Have you seen betting odds or not yet? Do you want
I
me to
don't think so. Yes, please do. Because the reason I say that is if Cody was just going to win it as simple as we're kind of suggesting, I think he would have kept him as be a surprise.
Interesting.
The fact they announced him ahead of time, I don't know.
Here we go. So Cody Rhodes is at 59, basically 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy's at 35%. The Rock is at 33%. And then it drops to Seth for 7.69%. And then it's Roman. But there's some other interesting names. I'm just going to read them. I won't read the percentages. It goes Roman, Lashley, Steve Austin, Drew McIntyre, Lesnar, Solo Sikoa, Riddle, Gunther, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul.
Oh my God.
And then it goes Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, Theory, Omos. Do you want to keep going? These numbers are getting horrible, but I can keep going if you want. It's kind of comical.
I think Omos is probably a good place to. Yeah. I think Omos is a good line to draw in the sand there. I don't know. It really feels like you should just pick Cody and be done with it.
I wonder if they have women's odds here too.
The way they announced him, I don't know.
They do
women's
have
odds.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
What we got?
So we got Rhea at 50%.
Okay.
23% is Becky Lynch. 12% is Raquel Rodriguez. 9% is Bayley. 9% for Naomi. 8% for Charlotte. 6% for Asuka. 6% for Shayna. 5% for Liv.
My God.
So low for Liv.
Shayna?
Yeah. Then it's Bianca.
So, there's a name there that came up that's interesting. Let's kick this around a little bit.
No, I don't want to kick her name.
Who?
Raquel.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I said interesting.
Okay.
Naomi.
Yes.
If it was Naomi as a surprise and she was to go for Charlotte Flair, that would somewhat explain why there's been absolutely no focus for Becky and Bayley on the Rumble, because that's who the winner actually is. And it's kind of hiding in plain sight almost. You know what I mean? I guess that would make some sense. And SmackDown is so thin on star power that it could actually be the answer.
I think she comes back. I don't think she wins, but I think she starts a feud with Charlotte and maybe is the WrestleMania match, but she definitely doesn't win the Rumble. I think that's Rhea.
Yeah. It's weird because it would only take a little build for me to me being convinced that Becky had a real shot. But I'm at a point with Becky where it's like I don't think it's happening at all.
I don't think they're gonna do Becky again. I don't think that they would waste that unless they really want to do a Becky Charlotte match.
Yeah, true.
If that, are you gonna insert Ronda?
Yeah, true. Becky felt most likely when Ronda was the champ, I guess, right? I'm not sure Ronda's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Ronda's at. I don't know. It's kind of weird. There was a report this week saying she will not be used at the Rumble, and I was like,
"You don't know, Joe?
Well,
or you know?
I might know."
Okay, I might know too.
But publicly, I don't have a clue.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Joe.
Me either. Ronda Rousey, who's that? The MMA fighter?
Oh, Shayna Baszler.
She's good. Yeah, she's good.
You
Maybe apparently she's got a better shot than Liv. I don't know.
That's honestly disappointing.
Yeah.
Who's
okay?
Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton.
It says Trish Stratton, so Trish Stratton and Tiffany Stratton.
I don't know. Willie might be doing a bit because I know that's what Manny calls her, but he also might have just forgotten her name. Yeah. Tiff Strat. She should actually be in there. She's genuinely got a really bright future.
They're probably not going to do any NXT women. Did you see that report too?
I did not. But
they're veering away from Legends and NXT women.
Pop.
Why would you do that to me? That's what I watched the Rumble for.
You gotta make room for Tamina.
And Dana Brooke.
Pop.
Oh,
She's got good apparently.
Natty's probably gonna make her big return with her broken nose.
Shout out to Monty. Okay.
We should
Final picks.
The women they actually have on their roster right now because I don't know if it's 30.
I don't know. I think there's probably in terms of quantity, there's probably enough to make it up or close. Maybe not the whole 30, but close. Okay. Final pick on the men's rumble, Jaychele. Who are you taking?
Cody.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same like a coward. Women's rumble, final pick.
Rhea.
Yeah, me too. It just feels too obvious, doesn't it?
My fun pick is Naomi, though.
Yeah, I think there's a shot at that. I think it feels very likely we're going to see Naomi on Saturday. To me,
I hope so. Did you see her magazine cover she just released?
I did not.
Yeah, she was on a sports magazine cover. She looked amazing.
My God, fair play. That's awesome. I sense there's a twist in the tail. We're going to talk about this more detail, folks, later on the Fed Dead Redemption show. Myself, Bobby, and Oracle, 8:30 Eastern. So you got about 4 hours. You know, get what you get. While we're on the Rumble, any interest at all in Bianca Belair versus the famed Lexi All Caps, or where are we at on that?
It's going to be spooky, isn't it, Joe? Definitely, Joe. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, it's going to be spooky. It's going to be really spooky. There's a theory going around the game, Jaychele. Would you like me to tell you the theory?
Is Bianca losing?
No.
Oh. Okay, then tell me the theory.
There is a theory of that goes something like this. Alexa Bliss is not being haunted by Uncle Howdy at all. And instead, it is all a well-planned ruse, a ploy to get in the head of Bianca Belair. If this is true, it will be one of the funniest things they've ever done on TV, because that would mean that Alexa Bliss came up with a plan that prevented her from winning a Raw Women's title 3 weeks ago. I have heard this now from multiple people, and it appears it is not impossible that, as Bob has just put in the chat, she's doing a bit. Your thoughts?
Pass. All of it, pass. This is why Bianca's not a star. Pass.
Could you imagine? Like Uncle Howdy comes out and Bianca pulls his wig comes off, and it's just like now, let me be clear, this has not been reported or anything. Just people talking. That's all. My guess is that Alexa will be about to win the match or whatever, and Uncle Howdy will get involved, because the whole angle has been about Uncle Howdy. Bianca is just like a supporting character in the Uncle Howdy Alexa thing. Alexa cut a good promo last night. That's about all good I've got to say. Their match on January, whatever the fuck, was very bad, which was alarming. I think they'll probably be okay here in terms of physicality, because I think both these women are frankly at their best when they can really put a match together and rehearse it internally, kind of treat it like choreography. And I don't even say that to be that's just the way they are, kind of their background and stuff. And I think they'll be better for that rather than working a 90-minute match on TV to a DQ finish. The problem is none of that physicality is going to matter when Uncle fucking Howdy comes out. I mean, that's death. That's the end, But yeah. We both picked Bianca Belair, I assume.
Yeah.
Joe and Jaychele. Last night, Alexa was wearing the jacket she wore at the 2020 Rumble when she and Bianca were 1 and 2. False. Respect. Law. If nothing else, they appeared to be having fun. I mean, I saw the what was the Scary Movie? Did you see that, Jaychele? They parodied Scary Movie. They did a whole spot of the Scary Movie film.
Oh yeah.
And then last week they did the Keith Lee thing, where she came up from behind her.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I think Alexa's at a point where she's just in pursuit of memes, which is what Bob's been doing for the last few years. So
Fair.
I don't know, man. God bless. Have you seen Bob's new action figure?
No.
Here we go. Let me show this. This is made by Jack's Pacific and JJ Williams.
Dylan, look at this, please.
Look at that.
see it?
Yes.
Look at Okay, now seriously, that's a obviously it doesn't say Bob and it hasn't got the cowboy hat, but the rest of that is a real Andre the Giant figure. If you would like that, Jaychele, which I'm sure you do, that would cost you around $50.
Why is his stomach strapped in like that?
Fair question, better question. Why is his chest yellow?
Why is his tongue sticking out?
I don't know. I didn't even notice that part. It was one of the least of his worries. Nonetheless. Okay, Bianca Belair's winning that match. Correct? We agree?
Yes.
All right. Roman and Kevin. Excited for that one?
No.
No?
Seen it before. Same thing over again.
Yeah, they did do a pretty extensive program at the start of Roman's run. I get it. Better question. What is the pitch black match?
They're gonna wrestle in the dark.
Straight up in the dark. No semblance of light whatsoever. I mean, that's what's advertised.
They're gonna go to a
must
back
be
alley, and they're gonna have a fucking brawl.
an alley.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like it's
Some
cinematic.
And some garbage cans.
Would you rather this be like a cinematic production?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wouldn't be?
It's gonna be worse.
Are you sure? Are you sure it wouldn't be funnier if they just walk to the ring and they just actually turn the lights out?
Well, yes, that would be funnier.
Someone
But
said to me
Also,
that it's
it would be funny to see LA Knight get thrown in a dumpster and land on a bunch of rats.
yeah, that's very specific.
Well, that's what I want for the match, so that's my
That's fair
expectation.
enough. I mean, you got a better idea of what you want than I do. I just sort of. Someone said to me that it's going to be a thing where it's a ploy to get everyone to do their phone lights. You know, like when Bray used to come out and they used to all do the thing. Yes, thank you for the physical. There you go. Yeah. Someone said that's what it is, and they're going to light up the stadium. And I'm unconvinced on the logistics of this. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's how it works. I mean, you'll be able to see, but like on TV, that would look like shit, wouldn't it? I don't know. I haven't.
I hope it's funny.
Oh, rest easy. I think it's gonna be funny. Intentionally or unintentionally, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be funny. So,
I just wonder how much money they got paid to do it.
They did a similar match in NXT UK. They had it like the Bray promos with blue light. See, that's my concern. That it's just gonna have like a tint. You know, like for the Fiend matches, you just have that red light. It's gonna be that.
Remember
but that's not pitch black.
Bugs on the floor.
All time bad. Him and Randy having both that match and the one with Alexa in it is like an insane piece of business. Insane.
There were bugs on the floor, Joe. They put bugs on the floor.
It's tremendous. Oh my god, Raw did a 0.7. Isn't that the highest rating in years? A 0.7?
That's very high.
What the fuck?
They said, Hulk Hogan, I gotta turn it on, baby.
The Nature Boy is back. I have to check out Raw.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's insane. Wow. That shows you how much I know. All right.
I saw that the Undertaker was there.
Indeed.
He did the badass thing.
Yeah, he spoke to Bray Wyatt.
Like he was his son.
Might be. I don't know.
Who's your daddy?
And on that note, we conclude another episode of the Jaychele and Joe show. Jaychele, any final thoughts, any plugs, any promotions?
I changed my Twitter name, so if you can't find me, it's Jaychele with 3 E's now.
What was that? Is that like a detailed move? Would it just pop you?
It's my TikTok's name, so all my social medias will eventually just be Jaychele with 3 E's, so I don't have to
synergy.
Yeah, exactly. So my TikTok is also Jaychele with 3 E's. If you want to follow me on there, that's where I do my cooking for now.
There you go, folks. What was it? What was the thing with Shelly? What was the name?
Shot of Shelly. That's kind of funny because I'm not legally able to drink either, so that's a strong name.
Folks, I have news. Don't get excited, but I have news. Fightful Select reported that Brian Cage's AEW contract is set to expire in a matter of weeks. Royal Rumble, we have a new contender.
Joe. Joe. Joe.
He's wrestling Bryan Danielson tomorrow night.
I saw that. If he breaks his arm, he gets money, right?
Yes, factual.
He'll break his arm.
Okay.
Would you break Bryan Danielson's arm for money, Joe?
Yes. I'll do it for free. I'm built different, you know what I mean?
Are you gonna do him on the concrete?
Well, what about the two words there in the middle are kind of, I feel, are difficult. Nonetheless, we'll be back. Jaychele and I will be back on Friday for the Green Game Night. It's myself, Matt, and Bob versus the Young Lions. That's our matchup.
That's your line.
Yes, that's it. We're running out. The All Stars are out there, you know. can't risk anything on Friday. And look at Bob.
Bob, are you excited for game night?
He's been preparing all week.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know.
Joe, I would like to disclose that I received a tip, or should I say a question, because one of the Young Lions has tried to cheat.
Can this be discussed on the air? This is awful news.
Yes. I received a text message last night from Dukes. Should I read the text message? Should I be a whistle blowing on the air?
Please do.
Dukes
This
said,
is terrible news, folks.
Jaychele, what are the topics for the game night so we can study and cook the old guys?
That's reprehensible, isn't it? The old guys? Matt's not that old. You know? Have you seen this, Jaychele?
What was that for, Joe?
That's funny, right? What is this?
Hey, everybody. Hope you all had a great holiday. Sorry I couldn't be on the Grin tonight. I'm still out here on assignment, so, had to get that taken care of, but I will be back next week. Really looking forward to 2023. I think it's going to be a big year for us. But before 2022 runs out, be sure to join us Saturday, the 31st, for a special year-end edition of the 31 with Robert O'Neill, looking back at the biggest stories of 2022. It's a good time. You're not going to want to miss it. So be there, and I will see you all next week.
Just wanted to see what it was, really. Dukes can go fuck himself. We'll see those boys for game night, you know? Get ready, fellas. All right. I'll be back, folks, in about 4 hours with the lads for the official Rumble preview on Fed Dead. Obviously, that'll be more about Bob and Oracle's takes because I don't watch either show, and I'm just giving all of my opinions here. So I'll repeat my theory to Oracle and make him very excited, I hope, regarding Uncle Howdy. So that's tonight. Tomorrow, Dynamite Grin Along is back with Manny and myself. Thursday, the flagship. Friday, Grin Game Night. It's a full week here, LNG. And then during the day, we have match reviews also. Today was Nakajima and Shingo. Tomorrow, I'm reviewing Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Viking Raiders.
You know I watch Ospreay Omega.
Wasn't it great? Ospreay, he's unbelievable, isn't he? In all seriousness.
I loved it.
Yeah, unbelievable match.
I paid for New Japan World to watch it, Joe.
That's impressive. I respect that very much. Shows you the drawing power of Great Britain, you know what I mean? I have not seen Judgment Day Usos as of yet. I probably will at some point. You can also look forward to the review of that Trick Williams match this weekend. So much to look forward to. I may even throw a CM Punk match in just for Jaychele. All right. Thank you, folks. Follow Jaychele on Twitter at Jaychele with 28 E's. And enjoy this outro. Goodbye.